Fore by Barstool Sports. We have a very special edition of this show right here. It is Sunday. My local time, it is 2:18 p.m. I believe it's 4:18 for you guys. We just witnessed a golf event that, among all things, and there's a million, enormous amount of things that we're going to get to that are positive, that we love, that we're giddy about. The number one takeaway for me of what I witnessed for the last 2 or 3 days is that the Woods family is here to fucking stay. The Woods family is going nowhere. The Woods family, earlier this year, when many people thought this could be it, this could be the last time we see it. We don't know if they're going to emerge. We don't know if Charlie's still into golf. We don't know if Tiger can walk again, if he'll have a leg. We just saw, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be blessed. Merry Christmas, everyone, by the way. Happy holidays. We will be blessed going forward for many years to come with a one Tiger Woods that can still compete and can still play and can still hit a golf ball 350 fucking yards. And we will be blessed with a Charlie Woods who loves this game and can step up, didn't smile for the last hour and a half of the final round of golf in his Sunday red and black with his father. We are blessed. We are going to witness. We are going to be given for many years to come much more of the Woods family. And that's the best Christmas present somebody can get.
Trent is begging to speak here. Yeah.
The great part about what you just said, until the last part, I didn't know which specific Woods you were talking about. And that, my friends, is incredibly exciting. Because obviously the last 10 months with Tiger have been weird and scary, and we didn't know what his future was going to look like. So to see him play as well as he played this weekend at the PNC was as encouraging as it gets. Not only did he look pretty damn good, but you could tell, especially today on Sunday when we're recording, how much he cared about birdie putts. When he missed one, he was devastated. And when he or Charlie made a birdie putt, he was extremely into it and happy and motivated. That was big for me. And then Charlie, I mean, I know we're going to talk about it at length on this podcast, but I'm almost speechless right now because he has so much pressure on him. We talk about him leading up to the event. Everybody in golf talks about him. Sometimes people outside of golf are talking about like, oh, what's Charlie Woods going to look like? And then he just performs under pressure that I can't even comprehend as a 12-year-old. I don't even remember being 12. I can't even imagine having a spotlight like that on me, people watching me play golf at the course, people on TV watching me. Just thinking about that, I would mentally break down and throw up all over myself. And Charlie, much like his father, seems to thrive under this type of pressure. And just to echo everything that Riggs said, it is a very, very, very exciting time to be a Woods fan in the world of golf.
At any given time, Charlie Woods was the best golfer in his group in a professional golf tournament, playing with the greatest golfer of all time, playing against another very capable golfer in his son. Charlie Woods and Tiger Woods, Merry Christmas. Everything about Tiger Woods that we saw is a Christmas gift. The man almost died 9 months ago. The fact that he was wearing red on a Sunday, playing in a professional golf tournament, trying to win, coming down 18, is something that is, I get into the season, the Christmas miracle season. I just saw Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I want to get into that later on in the show, how I went deep into Christmas this year. But they tell this story about a man walking into a bar and an angel coming down, something that was from the heavens. That's what Tiger Woods is. He's an angel from heaven. And he's not to be believed. The fact that he's walking around with a fucking limp and he's driving the cart around. The guy had amputation on the table just 8 months ago. It's psychotic. Given all of that and all the storylines, Charlie Woods still stole the show. Tiger Woods could have essentially walked on water this week, which is basically what he did. And Charlie Woods was the number.
He should be on the pit plan. I mean, like he should be getting paid for the pit plan. He's a needle mover.
Yeah. It was. I was gonna get more dramatic, and then Lurch just threw me off my game there. I was really feeling like it was starting to come. The tears were almost coming, and then Lurch just had to.
You were building up to it.
I was building up.
Let's get you going again. Let's hype you up again, Frankie.
It's fine. It's fine.
Walking on water. Who else walked on water, Frankie?
No, it's
Tell me
fine.
who else walked on water.
I can't remember.
Mind you of anyone?
Listen, bro, it just really made me excited and happy, and the biggest thing is that he wants it, Charlie. It's not the New York Islanders just tied the game with 5 minutes left. Fucking bellows, baby. All right. Here we go. I'm
Tweet,
sorry.
all caps. Tweet. You're all caps.
I know, I
real
have
quick.
to tweet. Listen, guys, Charlie Woods is here. The New York Islanders are here. Tiger Woods is here. It's a great time to live. You know the last time I was watching Tiger Woods wearing red and the Islanders playing golf? The Islanders playing hockey? The 2019 Masters. Leo Komarov scored at the same time that Tiger Woods put on 18 to win the fucking Masters. It's all coming back in our lives here, guys. I mean, it's all happening. Sports are back. Pandemic, all this fucking shit politics, the fucking restaurants are being closed. Tiger Woods fucking delivers, man. It's a Christmas fucking miracle. It's a Christmas fucking miracle. The Woodses are going to be here for the rest of our lives. KFC just texted Trent and I and said, do you guys realize how insane it is that we're going to be watching Tiger Woods and his son play golf for essentially 70 years of our lives? I'll be dead and a Woods will still be playing golf. Isn't that fucking insane?
We got there. We got there with the pump up. It just took the Islanders to score a goal, and then we finally got there.
Come on.
Everything, Frankie, that you are saying is correct. There's a concern always when you have someone like Tiger Woods that has done everything that he's done for the game of golf, for sports, for our inspiration around golf and getting jacked up and getting tuned in. There's always a concern that it's going to end. You do not want it to end because it's once in a lifetime. It's once in a generation. It's maybe once in the history of a sport that someone like Tiger Woods comes along, and every fucking time some new issue emerges, there's concern that it's going to be over. There are many, many, many people, many haters, of which we have now embarrassed yet again, who say that he will be done, that he can't recover from this, it's impossible. And there's always that little bit of doubt inside of you that it could be over. There was that massive concern when nobody knew anything about the car accident that Tiger Woods was in there and we would never see him again as an alive person, much less someone that could walk, much less someone that could play golf. And when he comes out there and he stands on that first tee, they introduce him. It looks like a major championship. It's 20 people deep on both sides of the ropes, and he stripes a little baby cut down the middle, and then his son Charlie hits one to like 5 feet, and they birdie the first hole, and then he steps up on, I think it was the 11th hole maybe yesterday. He outdrove Justin Thomas, who is one of the longest and best hitters in the world. And then he stepped up today, and everyone's worried that he's going to run out of gas. It's day 3. I think he said afterwards this was his 5th round of golf of the year, and he steps up today, and he looked the best that he looked all fucking week. He hit one on that par 5, whatever hole that was. He hit one 350. They had 176 in on a hole that was 329, and they took Eldrick, Tiger, Big Dick Woods' fucking drive, and you're sitting there going, did the last year just not even happen? Like, what was that, a dream, a nightmare? Like, what? He's just fine. He's just hitting balls. And then he limped. It was like Yoda in that fucking scene when he whips out the lightsaber and fights that motherfucker. And then he limps back off at the end of it. And he's like, oh, I guess we'll try again tomorrow. Tiger would rip a drive 350, limp to his cart, look like he's trying to like save all his energy, and then reemerge and with his fucking lightsaber and hit another one. It was incredible. The whole thing was incredible.
Before we go any further, I want to say congratulations to the Dailies because I'm watching them on my TV right now get their belts. I would be remiss if we don't at least mention it. I mean, I love these guys, and I felt bad rooting for them to struggle down the stretch because I wanted the Woods to win. But we got to at least mention that John Daly and John Daly II won this PNC championship, and they look great doing it. John Daly II's a fucking stud.
He's
A
incredible.
stud. Lurch, we got to get to you. You have a nice Tiger Woods tint on your screen. I don't know if that's by design.
Well, Riggsy and I talked about getting that like camera, so changing from the laptop camera to the actual. I just plugged it in, and I'm going through like what you would deal with and freak out. Now it's
saturation,
exactly. So it's all out of whack.
Ooh, I got a red one.
Right before we get to Lurch, I want to say that yes, congratulations to John Daly. John Daly II. He doesn't like when we call him John Jr. I think.
Little John. He doesn't like being called Little John.
Little John.
He's also massive. The kid is
massive.
not little.
They said that every time. They said he didn't like being called Little John every time. So they were like calling him Little
even
John.
Big John was like, yeah, you don't call him Little John. I'm happy that they won because I love them. He was smoking a dart on 18, John Daly, walking down the fucking fairway. I will say anybody but the Sinks. I will talk about that at the end of the show. They just rubbed me the wrong way, man.
What?
That son, I think that son has just, I think Reagan, is he named after the president? I think he's just a little too cocky right now. They won a couple tournaments. He's being known as this like savant of a fucking caddy. Listen, your dad's on a hot streak. Like, I get that you guys have good rapport. You literally came out of his nutsack. Like, you should have a fucking good rapport. I just I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you don't have a good relationship
on a Sunday.
You don't have a relationship with your dad. Like, yeah, I mean, sure. Like, you guys know how to fucking talk. He's your father. My second part is anybody but the Sinks. John Daly, I'm very happy for them. They're just good people, and everything that John's been through. He had just like Tiger Woods. Like, John Daly just had cancer 6 months ago. So, I mean, how long ago was that a fucking announcement? We were all like, what the fuck? Like, are we gonna lose John Daly? He's out here hitting absolute fucking bomb missiles, sticking darts in people's necks. It was amazing. Lurch, we got to get to your reaction to this amazing Sunday, Christmas Sunday.
Riggs, you want to talk about
first we got to talk about something even more important.
Little drinky drink?
Little Owen's Mixers real quick. I want to try to support our sponsors here. We're doing these shows. By the way, a little programming update. We're going to do one show this week, one show next week.
Yes!
Islander?
Cal Clutterbuck! 3-2! Wow. It's his 900th game in the NHL! Cal Clutterbuck!
Good golfer.
Hey, he's a fucking fan of the show. Great golfer. Stick, one of the best in the league. Let's go!
Hits it a mile off the tee and
we played with him. We played with him at Liberty National. The guy's a fucking gamer.
He could put the ball on top of a beer can and hit it like 350 yards. Incredible. So congratulations to him. You don't use beer cans, you use transfusion cans. Again, we got a lot more to get to, but we're doing programming. We're going to do one podcast this week, one podcast next week. We got a little holiday time with the families and whatnot, and then we're going to regroup. We'll be back at the beginning of January. But a big thanks to our sponsors. All of this is possible because of these guys. Owen's Mixture, great drink, transfusion. Pour it in with your liquor of choice. Vodka, have an awesome cocktail. They got GoPuff. You can get it. Amazon, you can get it. OwensMixers.com if you just want to get in your little car there, your whip. Maybe you want to take an Uber and go pick it up. You could do that as well. So OwensMixers.com. I picked a couple out of my fridge. Grapefruit and lime. I got the transfusion, Palomas, great cocktails. Owens. Thank you for all their support. They support us and other endeavors as well, including the Chicks in the Office, Trent, bras being thrown at them, bachelor stuff. They're just all over. They love us, support us. So go support them. Owen's Mixers.
That's offside.
Offside. The goal's coming back, Frank.
That's coming back.
But anyways, it's incredible. And Trent, I agree with probably your point more than anything else of just Charlie's level of execution in big spots is off the charts. Get a whoop on him. What does his heart rate do? He's incredible. And then, I think they actually looked best in the salmon. When they showed up in that beautiful pink salmon, I thought the two of them looked not to be believed that good. And then going back to that loser
You're like a
tweet,
salmon. You're kind of a salmon.
I've got a little salmon on right now, I guess. But no, thank God they look tremendous. But
they don't ever look better than in their red and black. I mean, come on.
It was close for me. There's one point though that I want to touch on. I refuse that loser tweeted out Charlie's not in the top 100 of golfers in Florida in his age group. I cannot believe that. That kid is so goddamn good at the game of golf. It's incredible. I don't know if Charlie doesn't play in tournaments or he's just basically out back practicing, but there's just no way he's not in the top 100 of kids his age group. He is so damn good at golf. He hits it everywhere. His putting's outrageous. He has awesome feel. Yeah, I mean, we're lucky to be in the spot that we are. And now it's just 100% the Tigers playing in all the majors this year.
When do we start equating when you're trying to get a list of the top 100 children golfers, which is a fucking weird thing to do like that guy did on Twitter. Weird. When you try and compile the list of the best children that play the game of golf, why aren't you computing the fact that this kid just played in a fucking Sunday of a PGA tournament and absolutely was nails? When does that come into your Corsi stats in hockey? When do you figure that into your analytics? That this kid can step up in front of fucking 1.5 million people and roast a drive right down the middle. Meanwhile, fucking Sally Smalldick over here is fucking playing in front of his grandpa in the backyard at fucking Orlando Country Club. I'm sorry, man. Charlie Woods has it.
His swing is pure. I
accidentally got into the weeds on that today a little bit. I tweeted a video of JD number 2 with that shot out of the bunker, which was fucking incredible. And I just said, Charlie's getting a lot of spotlight, but check out how much of a stick JD number 2 is. And people are like, why are you comparing these two? He's just a kid. Stop doing that. And I was just like, I was just trying to point out how awesome JD number 2 is. But I agree with what you guys are saying. I said on the last podcast that I don't care about the rankings. I think the people who care about those are insane. All I know is that the confidence that Charlie Woods is going to take away from this event is astronomical. His dad is going to take away a bunch of confidence too. It's a different type of confidence. They're in a different part or a different point in their careers, obviously. But like Frankie said, like Lurch said, to play that way in front of that many people during a sanctioned event, like the things that he's going to take going forward have to vault him ahead of just almost everybody. And again, I'm not going to rank him, but all I'm saying is that the confidence you take away from performing in an event like this at that age has to be substantial.
Yes, easily. And the rankings, the overall, what he's performed over the year, that could not possibly mean less. And if you don't gather that, if your takeaway is, ooh, let's not all get too excited, like, let's not be happy, because actually the numbers state this. You are one of the great losers in the history of the world. You need to go join the fucking home with Jeff Shackelford and his clan of negative motherfuckers, because look, at the end of the day, like Trent's saying, a far more important talent than anything else, any of these golfers at age 12, they're 12-year-olds, any talent is, the difference is going to be stepping up and being able to do it. On the very first tee, with all that pressure on Saturday morning, I was like, how is this kid going to be able to swing this club right now? He's 12 years old. He's got all this pressure. He's dressed exactly like his dad. And he just rips one down the middle and then hits an iron again to like 5 feet. And you're thinking, oh, okay, he's just on a different level. And then that tweet from, it was either Danny Rappaport or it was Dylan DeChair, where they said, like, Charlie Woods hasn't smiled in an hour and a half during the back nine when he was hitting dart after dart after dart. That kid is laser, locked in, focused. That comes from exactly what we've seen from Tiger Woods. You know why we're going to compare the two? Because he's miniature Tiger Woods. He's got the same fucking DNA, the same outfit, the same mannerisms, the same golf shots. Of course we're going to compare the two.
Charlie Woods made the driving the golf ball look like the easiest thing in the world. He made it look like it's like getting out of bed in the morning. I couldn't wrap my head around every time he stepped up to a tee and laced the ball. It was perfect. And I don't like. Did he hit a bad one all week or in the 2 days? I don't think so.
Couple like short right, maybe he like you know what, a lot of the ones that like he wishes that he could do right now, even though he's 12, is like those 265 in the fairway shots on the par fives that like Daddy was going after. Yeah. He wishes like he's at that level. You could see it in his fucking head that he's like, why can't I hit this 3-wood on this green right now? It was just coming up like short right, and you could see the fire in him being like, I can't wait to just grow and just be better and bigger. Like I can't wait to win every golf tournament I've ever played in. And you know what? The expectations and all this stuff that we're putting on the kid, we wouldn't be doing this if he wasn't playing in the PNC Championship wearing, and what Rick said before just made me chuckle, he's wearing the same outfit as his dad, who's the greatest golfer of all time. They're just parading these guys out here, acting like he is the second coming of Jesus Christ, and we're obviously going to just take the bait and say, yeah, he is. Like, what else do you want us to do? Like, people say that about regular kids all the time. Oh, you look just like your daddy. Oh, you have your mom's eyes and all that stuff. Like, yeah, you have your dad's fucking golf game. That's awesome.
Tiger, during his post-round press conference, said, when referring to him and Charlie, he said,
we gave up the game. Oh, we gave up the fucking goal 30 seconds left.
What did he say, Trent?
He said, we're both unbelievable putters. And if you don't think that we're going to start talking about Tiger and Charlie and the prospects of his future, after Tiger Woods himself, arguably the greatest putter of all time, said, we're both unbelievable putters. So it's crazy, man. This whole thing, it was just so much fun to watch, the whole thing. It's
crazy he's 12, man. He's 12 years old. He is so young. He was born in 2009. That's, by all intents and purposes, that's yesterday. Yeah, I mean, he's a child, and he's incredible. His golf swing is so pure, so smooth. Like, when we think about all of our games and just the regular, even professional golfers, there's like a little hitch in the swing. It doesn't seem like it just flows. His is so fluid. It's like water flowing downhill. There's just nothing in the way, and it is so damn impressive. And I was, chatting with some people yesterday, and they're like, oh, they're showing Charlie Woods too much. It's like, well, yes, but he's a needle mover. It's everything. He's in front of everybody's face at the PNC. If there's a couple people out there that you're looking like, it is so fun to watch a young, like, prodigy in any game. And in my eyes, Charlie Woods is like the second best player of all time right now.
Like, here's anyone who tries to focus on negatives about it, to me, it's psychotic, because those are the only people saying anything negative. It's like, Everything else is positive. Tiger hardly have chosen to be out there. They know the deal. There are other kids. Henrik Stenson's kid is out there chirping him at the thing. And everyone is positive about it. Everyone's reacting positively. We're all saying this is so fun to watch. We're all rooting for them. It's inspiring everyone to be friendlier with their children and want to get their kids out and play golf with them and be a great father-son or father-daughter relationship. It's all positive. The only people that are saying anything negative are the people that think that it's negative, that are like, oh, you shouldn't be. Why not? Like, there are actors that are fucking 12 that everybody watches. Like, there's a golfer that's 12 that everybody's watching because his dad wants him out there playing, competing. And again, this was clearly Charlie's favorite 2 days he's probably ever had. And that's an awesome, awesome thing. If he emerges next year and he's quit golf and now he's swimming full time, he never plays golf again, that's fine. Who gives a shit? He was there, had this unbelievable experience. We all witnessed it. Everybody's internet is full with fucking heart emojis and positive stuff left and right and holidays and Merry Christmas. Everybody's all excited except people that find the negative in everything. They're the only ones finding any negative in any of this.
I will say, if Tiger go ahead.
If he wants
Charlie
to just
stops playing golf, I'll be a little sad. I mean,
if he wants to do that though, like if he wants to stop being in the spotlight, he'll just stop being in the spotlight. Like I don't know what the fuck Wayne Gretzky's son's doing. I don't know what Michael Jordan's son's up to right now. Like they're just living life, being normal people with a shit ton of money, and they get to just have their lives. They didn't want to be. they weren't in that fucking field. Like, but he clearly wants to be in it. And while he's in it, we're gonna be going crazy every second.
Right. I will say, as long as he decides to stick with golf, the PNC is a must-watch event. Like next year, the anticipation, again, if he continues with it, which would be great if he does, will be, I mean, off the charts. I don't know how you can get more anticipation than we've had this year after the first year, but going into the third year, I mean, it's a top 5 must-see golf event every single year.
Think about how happy PNC is right now. It's this was like a tournament that was like, you know, yeah, okay, cool, whatever.
Oh, the dailies.
Last year and this year, now, every year. Right now, it's the biggest. It's like it's the 5th major. I mean, it is so big.
The CFO, when the CFO was on there, he was like, oh yeah, this is fucking great. Oh, we paid fucking a discount price. Our tournament's in mid-December, and we got Tiger fucking Woods out here parading around with his kid 2 years in a row. I mean, what tournament sponsor would you, like, what level would you trade? Do you have to go all the way to the Players' Championship before there's a more valuable sponsorship from a title sponsor standpoint than the PNC right now? Those are like the 3 most popular letters in America right now.
I know.
It's true. It's insane.
I mean, the Memorial's not more exciting than that. Who the fuck wins that tournament? Like, and that's a huge tournament. That's as big as it gets outside of the top majors and the Players is like the Memorial, Bay Hill. Like, there's a few up there. I think this gets way, way more love than that, than either one of those.
It's so different. It's so if you watch the social clips that come out of it, there's not much to them, but you know that they're special. Like, it's basically anytime Tiger and Charlie look at each other or fist bump or are walking next to each other or are just standing next to each other, like sort of leaning on their putters the same way, people are like, holy fucking shit, this is amazing. And no other tournament has that. Literally none.
It's the most movie-esque tournament in all of sports, or just event in all of sports. It really is. Everything feels like it was crafted by a writer's room. Like people sitting around a table saying, how could we make the most dramatic, incredible, non-real situation of all time? Since I got on this podcast, it was 2-1. The Islanders were losing with like 6 minutes left. It's now 3-3 in overtime. So much stuff has happened. Goals have been called back. The Islanders took the lead. They gave up a goal with 30 seconds left. Now they're in 3-on-3 overtime. It's fucking chaos. Overtime is not for the faint of heart either.
And then on top of all of that, you've got the relationship between JT and Charlie, and that feels like a movie too, and the Woodses and the Thomases. Frankie's right. The whole thing feels like a movie.
And Joey LaCava and Joey LaCava Jr. just on the bags, and just psychotic amount of storylines.
Black Rifle Coffee, real quick, talking about storylines. This is one of the great storylines in all of coffee, all right? BRCC, Black Rifle Coffee, continually committed to supporting veteran law enforcement and first responder causes. 2020, Black Rifle Coffee donated more than 6 million cups of coffee to deployed soldiers, law enforcement, and medical workers through their signature Buy a Bag, Give a Bag initiatives. Black Rifle Coffee imports high-quality coffee beans from all over the world, roast 5 days a week at their facilities in Manchester, Tennessee, and Salt Lake City, Utah. The team at Black Rifle Coffee is continuing researching and experimenting with new roasting methods and coffee origins. Best way to enjoy Black Rifle Coffee by joining the coffee club. All right, you pick your favorite roast, your perfect roast, how much and when you want delivered to your door. Black Rifle Coffee takes care of the rest. It's free to sign up, and you get free shipping, discounts on partner brands, and early access to new products and club-exclusive products. All you got to do is go to blackriflecoffee.com/Fore. Use the code Fore today and get the freshest coffee in America shipped to you. It's a veteran-owned coffee company serving premium coffee to people who love America. Veteran CEO, founder Evan Hafer spent over 7 years on the ground overseas with U.S. Special Forces. So do yourself a favor. Once again, go to blackriflecoffee.com/Fore. Use the code Fore today and get the freshest coffee in America shipped to you.
Lurch said something interesting before about how he thinks that now Tiger is a lock for all 4 majors. Does the rest of the podcast feel that way?
I don't know. I think it's going to be way more circumstantial in real time than it is like planned. I think there's a chance that if Tiger Woods, a week before the U.S. Open is like, my leg's just not in good shape right now, that he'll just sit out the U.S. Open. Like, I think that's not crazy. Even if he's already played in the Players and the Masters, I could see him looking at the forecast at the British Open and being like, yeah, I've won at St. Andrews a couple times by a combined 13 shots, but it's going to be fucking 45 degrees and blowing one day. I'm not going to go over there. I could see that world. I think it's unlikely. I think he'll play in all 4. Based on what I saw, he's going to win all 4, and you're crazy to have to bet on him to be. Right. And him and Charlie might share a couple of them. I don't know. But I still just don't think it's a lock because he's so unpredictable, and walking is a huge part of it. And he keeps downplaying it so much. I mean,
big time.
He told us a couple days ago that he can't hit his swing speed's less than Charlie's. I mean, Charlie carries at 210. I was watching Tiger Woods hit at 350. So, I mean, I don't know what the fuck. He's spotting dimes, eating apple. I don't know what he's doing.
And his swing speed was equal to Colin Morikawa's swing speed all year on tour, who's like the greatest player that we've ever saw, like, at his age. So, at this point, I don't think I'm committing myself to believing that Tiger Woods will be back for all 4. I'm not even at 100% for the Masters still. I thought this is still a hit and giggle. What we saw was incredible out of him. I just can't picture him walking down the fucking golf courses with the undulations and the fucking fairways and walking up to the tee boxes, that whole fucking thing. 4 days, practice rounds. I can't, it just seems too soon. I think what we saw is incredible to know that in a year, maybe the 2023 Masters, like Tiger Woods is going to just be Tiger Woods, where we're a year and a half removed from the crash and we're not just a year removed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that we're there yet.
I think that's all fair. And because if we're being 100% honest with ourselves, and I agree that he looked great when he was swinging the club, not so great when he's walking around. He looks like an older guy who just had pretty serious surgery on one of his legs that he almost lost. Like, him having the cart, he needed that cart. He wasn't just going to walk up and down those fairways. I think he plays in the Masters, and there was a quote that he had over the weekend during one of his interviews where he said, since the crash and since I've been out of bed, there hasn't been a day that has gone by that we haven't worked on something. I've been working my ass off every single day since I've been able to. That gives me confidence that, 4 months from now, a little less than 4 months from now, maybe he will be able to tee it up at Augusta and walk those fairways because we know he's going to give it 100% every single day. It's just him walking around. He looked
easy.
like he was hurting a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. But I think I agree with you. I think if he plays at Augusta, he's playing all 4 just because I think that's probably the toughest walking course. I've never been there. You boys have, but like the undulation there is brutal and it's on a hillside. It's bad for your hips, the whole thing. But the major venues this year are so iconic that I just feel like he wants to play in every one of them. I can't see him skipping, what the country club or going over and playing at the old, like those are just such iconic.
He's got incredible history at all of them too.
It's insane. How about Southern Hills? I don't know.
Southern Hills, he won the 2007 PGA Championship there.
Let's go. That's just music to my
Brookline,
ears.
Brookline, he stood on the first tee in his singles match and played against somebody that they had sat the entire week thus far to that point because his game, the guy who was playing his game was so bad. And apparently Tiger just looked him right in the eye on the first tee and was like, I hope you're ready for this. They beat him like 7-6. So
Yes. Yes.
He's like got really good. He's won at St. Andrews twice. Obviously at St. Andrews, won the Masters 5 times. So yeah, history-wise, it's about as good as it gets in terms of setups. And so yeah, I think, look, I hope you're 100% correct. It is, it's just so fucking unpredictable with this guy. But yeah, even if he can come with the game that he had today, today, like I feel like he could compete in one of those. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna win, but now you're gonna give him 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to get ready. Let me ask you this: is there any rule that states he can't just hire an unbelievably strong, huge caddy to just carry him from shot to shot?
What's to say Joey can't do it?
Also, like what? So you're not allowed in the majors at all. There's no way in hell that he'll ever take a cart.
He said that this weekend he'd never take a cart. He was like, I will never apply for a cart because if I need a cart, then I'm not at the level that I need to be.
God, that's
Come
a
on,
stud
man.
answer. That's an
Take the
unreal
fucking
answer.
It is a
cart.
stud answer, but like, at
What if he
certain
did
point,
the
it's like,
fucking
let's use the
motorcycle
cart.
carts? What if he did the motorcycle carts? Those things are starting to get hot. Imagine him
more-
rolling down the 18 at Augusta in the motorcycle. Holy fuck.
I'm more on Riggs' side. I think he needs like a Dewey-esque caddy that'll carry him from shot to shot, and then we're golden. I don't know if it's against the rules or not.
We've got a shootout on Long Island.
Who are they playing?
They're playing Vegas.
Ooh,
Yeah, Robin Leonard, the old Islanders
that's
goalie,
right. I
who
saw that. They
who
gave him a
says
standing
that
O, is right?
he says the Islanders saved his life,
Yeah, he went through a bunch
and we gave up a goal. Yeah, he played for one. He played like 50 games for the Islanders.
He was a big prospect, yeah.
Yeah, he played 50 games for the Islanders, and he got a tattoo of Long Island on his neck. So I mean, he loves this place.
Is that what that? I didn't know what that is, but he's got a crazy tattoo on his neck.
Yeah, he just got one. I mean, they're gonna lose this game. This will be the worst loss of the year.
You should get one of those, Frankie. Big old neck tattoo. That'd be great.
Yeah, but that was. I mean, anyways, that was just like that golf was as fun to watch as it could possibly be. Like pretty much every father-son combo was amazing just to see them play. You know, the whole bit. Obviously, not obviously, but I was most amazed again by Charlie and then also by the Daly boys. Like I thought they were both incredible. John Daly's son is as good and as strong as a golfer as I think you can have out there. I'll be interested how he does it because he's at Arkansas, I believe.
I think he's a freshman in Arkansas. Yeah.
How about JD2 was putting second? I found that fascinating.
That is.
Yeah, I wondered because like John Daly is John Daly, so maybe he was thinking like I've never needed anyone to read a putt for me or like hit one, so like I'm just gonna do my thing, and then if I happen to miss, like you now have a read. You're a sick golfer at the collegiate level. They didn't even have a chance. This team.
Just can't even.
I like when your golf thoughts trail and then it's just like hockey
right.
update.
That's a hockey thought. That was like a hockey interrupted thought, clearly.
No, I think JD number 2, he's got it's quieter than you would expect, but he's got a serious bit of confidence inside of him, and I think that played a lot into the putting order. I would imagine. I don't know.
John Daly with his outfits and his beard and everything, you know, that's just never going to get old. You have to love John Daly. He's ripping the dart, like you said, come down 18. So, yeah, it's just nothing on earth was going to overshadow the Woods today, unfortunately, for those guys. They deserve it. They played incredibly well, especially down the stretch. I mean, there was heat going on. There's clearly, like, roars out there. There's Charlie right in front of them throwing dart after dart. How about on 17? Charlie played with the same tees as everybody else. I mean, it's like Charlie, Tiger, Kuchar's kid. They're all playing from, like, 179 or whatever it was, and Charlie hit one to 4 feet, stepped up and made the putt. I mean,
even the announcers were like, nobody's been going for that side of the green. It's so tight over there that no one's even daring to go over there. And Charlie Woods just throws a fucking dart down. I mean, that was the most impressive shot, I think, of the week for me. Just with all the pressure, I think, what were they at 10 straight birdies at that point? Just lighten everything up. Obviously, there's going to be a buzz going around the golf course. The internet is going absolutely insane. And he steps up to the same tees as everybody else and just throws it to 4 feet. Like, that, to me, like if I'm looking into the future, that's going to be a clip that's shown like, hey, remember, Charlie Woods is doing all this now in the world. Remember when he was fucking 12 years old doing this in front of his dad, in front of Kuchar, in front of these huge crowds? Like, what a moment for the kid.
Yeah. He's cocky too. There's no doubt about it. And I love that part about him. I love that tenacity. I love that. The reason why I brought up the sinks in the beginning, there's a huge difference. Like, I think it's like that across the board. I'm more hateable now than I was when I was 12. It's just a fact. Like, the older you get, the more your face becomes punchable and all these things. Something about where Reagan's sink is in his life, I just don't like it. I don't like his... Is it Reagan? It's Reagan, right? I don't like when he takes 45 minutes discussing how perfectly they're going to attack this shot, and then he just hits it in the water and, like, acts like, oh, yeah, all right, Dad, like, go get it. Like, he did that both days. I think it was on, like, 16. Wherever that water is, when they try and clear it on the second shot, he just kept hitting in the water. And it's like, the way that they talk through the shots, it's like they're the first player combo to ever, like, talk about a shot. And, like, the way that the fucking media was going after him, being like, you guys are in sync, you guys take every step together. It's like
they had the belt buckles on,
and like every time he missed a putt, he said like, oh, that was a great read, I just pushed it. Like, you heard him on the mic saying that. So it's like there's just something about he's seen the success, which I'm happy for them. And Stewart seems like a great guy. He seems like a great guy too.
We got to get Reagan Sink on the show, and you have to talk it out.
Well, no, it's one of those situations where like I would never know how to like express why he just comes off like the wrong way to me. Just like how I come off the wrong way to people on the show. I just like, I don't know. I just don't like him that much. I don't have to like him.
You don't have to. You can dislike people if you want. He's 24. His dad had 2 wins last year, so he probably with him on the bag. So he probably feels a little bit. He's cocky. I agree. Like the way he walks, he's got the flowing hair. Yeah. He's pretty much the same size as his dad. They have the same gait when they walk. Like, but if I was 24 and he sort of feels like he figured out the game of golf.
Yes.
I would be cocky as fuck too.
Totally. 100%. We're just the fucking idiots in our parents' fucking basement talking about it on a podcast. My point is that I was happy they didn't win. And I think golf needs a little bit more of that, even at the father-son championship.
Well,
yeah, of all the teams in the top 5 there down the stretch, I would say they were the team I wanted to win the least.
We need more of rooting against people.
Oh, rivalry. Yeah, I do agree that like it should be okay that you're like, yeah, I don't want them to win. Like
I'm sick for that. I'm sick of rooting for the sport where no matter who wins, we all fucking clap and giggle and high five each other. It's the fucking dumbest thing in the sport of golf.
I love that you picked this event though.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
But go on, what are you saying?
It's just the only sport in the world where like you're going into it, and no matter who wins, you have something good to say at the end. I would have been distraught if the Sinks won. I would have been so angry. Anybody but the Sinks, I was saying all day long. Because you need that, man. You got to go after some people in sports. You have to. It's sport. There's one team and there's another team. It was everybody versus the Sinks for me.
I agree with you 100%. We've said for 5 years now that there needs to be more of like, it's fine to root against people that you don't like. But I think it's tough if you ever try to force it. Like if you're forcing there to be an adversary or a negative figure and it's just 5 guys down the stretch that you like all of them, then I think that's completely fine. Like if you have, when it was like Morikawa against Spieth down the stretch at the British Open, it's like, you're really going to be like, I fucking am going to be so pissed if one of these guys wins. It's like, you really like both of them. What are you supposed to do?
Right.
No, and this Reagan thing for Frankie isn't new. Like, he didn't pick that this week to start disliking. Yeah, I talked about this on the podcast. He sort of had that feeling about him for a while now.
Yeah, I've had that talk on this podcast. I didn't know how I felt about him out there. I was happy, actually, when they won for the first time in a long time. I forget where that was. It was in, like, the Carolinas, right?
Hilton Head?
Hilton Head.
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like a pretty cool story. His whole family was there, like the wife. I think she was battling with like health issues in the Sink family. So like, and they had a pretty good interview the other day, Stuart Sink and his son, about like just like how the mom like taught them how to like battle and all this stuff. Like that's all great, and I love that stuff. Like just something about when I see that fucking side angle shot of the camera watching Stuart Sink and Reagan Sink walk down the fairway, I got to listen to him talk about all the fucking intricacies of their shot, and then he just drains one in the water. It's like, come on, dude, just hit the ball. You haven't figured out the game of golf. That's my point.
They're using the system that I'm now completely forgetting as I start to talk about it. What system are they using? We've had the guy on the show.
Oh,
Decade Golf?
Decade.
Yes,
I was just saying,
I believe they're
Legacy
using that, aren't they?
I think so,
Probably.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they are.
And I'm sure this comes off as hypocritical with my Bryson love, but also the Sinks hadn't gone to the Ryder Cup and fucking wielded their driver like a sword in front of the entire fucking crowd and won.
He did wield it like a sword, that's true.
He did, so that's why I love Bryson. I don't care.
I got a quick question. Where do you guys think my car is right now?
What?
Where do you think my car is?
Mm-hmm. At the bottom of a lake or something?
No, I hope not. I think it should be I left it at Colton Ost's house last night. And
wow.
The point of this story is that if you're hanging out with some friends, you're putting back a few drinks, you should drive sober or you will get pulled over. You should leave your car somewhere and make sure you can arrange another ride because it is extremely dangerous and careless to drive if you've had drinks. See where I'm going here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Our boy Josh Isner put on a nice little Christmas party last night. Him and his wife Christina put on a lovely Christmas party last night. And, the whole band was there. We had a bunch of the Dad Bod Classic people. Almost the entire Dad Bod Classic tournament was there.
Wow.
Colt's going to be a new addition this year, so there was a ton of chatter. Speaking of, huge people that could carry Tiger Woods around, our guy Connor was there.
Beast.
Taylor, everybody was there. Basically, the
He's
entire
huge.
Dad Bod was there. Yeah, he's like 6'9". And it was a delightful time. But again, a few cocktails, a few drinks, transfusions from Owens were consumed. So I got to go pick up my car after we do this podcast. I got to Uber over there, which is a very small price to pay compared to much worse consequences if you drive after several drinks, if you drive drunk. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, do yourself a favor, do everyone a favor, think again, play it safe, and plan ahead to get a ride. It takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's life forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. For more information about the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign, visit www.nhtsa.gov/drivesober. Again, much more concise link we're working with here versus the train thing. The train one it's too much. Yeah, I could
Nobody's
give
finding
feedback
that.
to the train folks. I just don't know how you could find that link. But this one, again, it's nhtsa.gov/drivesober. So go check that out for more on the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign.
Hey, Riggs, I got a question for you now that we're asking everybody questions.
Sure.
In the Foreplay group chat a few days ago, you asked me if I was a good bowler or not. Completely out of the blue. Didn't know where it came from. I had no idea what was happening. Oh, yeah. One of the weirder texts I've ever gotten. I've weirdly felt exposed. You asked me in front of all of the people who are in the Foreplay group chat, are you a good bowler? I didn't want to answer it first. And then I eventually told you no. And then I was like, why are you asking me this question? And you refused to answer my question. And I want you to answer that question right now. Why are you asking if I'm a good bowler or not?
So I was out with a group of people, and one of the folks said, hey, by the way, I'm from the same state as Trent. And we started saying, oh, wow. We started talking a little bit about Iowa. And he said, yeah, me and my friends, we were chirping about being from Iowa and the same stupid jokes corn boy, what do you guys do? Go tip fucking cows and all that stuff.
I've heard him.
And then
I've heard him.
At one point, he was like, we would do we would just go bowling all the time. And he was like, I bet Trent's a good bowler. And I was like, I don't know. We've never gone bowling. Of all the things we've done together, golfing, traveling around the world, we've never been bowling. So then we kind of got into a debate at the table of half the people were like, I bet Trent's a damn good bowler. And half the people were like, I don't see it. And so I said, well, let me just ask him. So I asked you, and you got very defensive right away, and you ultimately said no. So how bad of a bowler are you?
I don't think I'm any worse than the average person who never goes bowling. You know what I mean? If you put a bowling ball in my hand at a bowling alley, I think it'll go okay. It won't be very good, but it won't be horrific. But I was so caught off guard with that question. I don't agree with the other Iowa person in this conversation that bowling is not an Iowa thing. I get that he was just saying like, oh, you know, what we used to do was sometimes we would go bowling. I don't think that needs to be immediately labeled as a thing.
We kind of cornered him into it.
It feels like that. I feel like people on this podcast have gone bowling far more times than I have. Frankie feels like a bowler to me.
I'm not a bowler. I tried to get into
that
bowling.
wiry body. You gotta have the bowler vibe.
I tried to get into bowling when I was younger. We got the ball. My dad's a good bowler. Every time he bowls,
You have your own ball?
I used to, not anymore. My dad has the thing where it pops. So every time it lets go, he would wear the little wrist thing too.
Oh,
your dad definitely has his own ball, right? Your dad has his own ball.
There was a point in my life where our whole family had balls.
There we go. It's
but
a Long Island thing.
I was 12 or 13. We also have a bowling alley right down the road.
That's a bowling family.
It's not a bowling family though.
I would see less than 10% of families have balls. Maybe 5. Maybe less than 5% of all families have a bowling ball.
My mom's a huge bowler. Shout out to my mother. Listen, she's been in a bowling league for many years of her life. She's been in 2 bowling leagues every week. But I want to say probably up until maybe 10 or 15 years ago, in a couple of her leagues, she carried like a 190 something average.
Wow.
That's good bowling. Really.
I mean, obviously it's lower now, like father time takes its toll, but she's still pretty fucking solid and bowls. Her and my sister bowl in a league in the Boulder, Colorado area, and we'll pull a pun there, unrelated. And she actually requested, I said, hey, I'd love to get you guys some Barstool merchandise here when we were doing all the plugs around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and they each have a Barstool bowling ball bag, which I didn't even know
sell those. Wow, we sell those.
Barstool Carl, I believe, fronts that. He's a big bowler, and I think he got some Barstool bowling merch in the store. Yeah.
The only bowling thing we had as kids was our dad just told us if you bowled under 100, you're pathetic. And that was literally it. But that was the only, like, when we go, it's like, so now when I go, it's like, if I ever don't break 100, I know that my dad, not with me, but knows that I'll be pathetic.
Let me ask you this. I'm so not a bowler that I don't know the answer to this question. If I went bowling right now, if I left my apartment and found a bowling alley in New York City, which I don't even know if those exist, would I be expected to break 100?
Yes.
Have more than 100?
I don't think you do. I think you're probably expected to, and you're embarrassed. But I think you finish with like an 88.
No. I think you bowl a
Trent's not making spares. Just because it looks like a bowling ball doesn't mean he can fucking roll one.
Okay. All right, pizza boy. Here we go.
I was waiting for that because, it's so funny that everyone's just assuming Iowans are good bowlers just because they fucking,
Well,
that's pretty much what it came from. That's what it came from. That's where the whole conversation came from.
Right. People assume that I'm a NASCAR fan. People assume that I'm a pro wrestling fan. People assume a lot of things about me.
You are a pro wrestling fan, right?
What do you mean?
You dabble with WWE.
What do you mean?
Well, when I lived with Robbie Fox, I watched it every
not growing up?
No, I was not a wrestling guy growing up.
Wow.
I for whatever reason, it didn't come to my door.
We were big NWO fans.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a thing like in my household. Like my brother was never into it. My friends
Bowling's
weren't really
cool.
into it.
What I never realized was how different lanes to lanes, like one bowling alley to another bowling alley was because of like the way the wax. I never knew any of that shit.
You're from such a bowling family that you're like some of the lanes are different.
Frankie
some of the
is
lanes
like
that we go to
Frankie's
are
a real bowler. Like you're a real.
No,
if you were gonna go roll, what would you kind of expect to bowl? What number?
145.
Okay, that's good. That's not bad bowling.
No,
125.
That's not bad.
No, it's not that good though. It's like it's a bunch of spares.
Bowling hardos now that come after us.
I feel like when you break the 130 threshold, I feel like is like above average bowling. I think.
Now it's like my golf game. I could throw up a 70 up there. I could just miss every. You know what I mean? It's like my golf. Like I
can too. I'm a pretty bad bowler. I would say if we all 4 went, I'd be surprised if I didn't. Over 3 games, average the worst. I could get hot, everybody can, but overall, I'm pretty bad.
I look at the arrows. I'm at that level of bowling, so at least I'm above the people that just look at the pins.
the second from the right middle one. Is that where you're trying to throw it?
Yes, you want to try and roll that ball right in between the second and third pocket of those arrows. That's where that's my sweet spot.
Oh,
Trent, there's these arrows.
I look at the pins.
there's these arrows right in front of you, and you just got to roll it over the arrow. It's like putting, where you just find your hole. It's fucking awesome, man. Next time you go bowling, look at the arrows. You will be dynamite.
Are you a spinner or are you a straight ball thrower?
I used, like, when I had my own shit, I had the fingertip ball. God. So I had a fingertip ball, and then I'd also have a spare ball. I actually had 2 balls at one point.
Dude, I feel
like
at one point they were
be
like,
a more straight ball.
Are the Borellis going to open an Italian place, or are they going to open a bowling alley? I feel like at one point it was, neck and neck.
You have a spinner ball where it's real high in the with the ring finger and the middle finger. You got your high up there. You know what I mean? They're high. They're inserts in there, so it's kind of an easy release, and the spin would come out, and then the spare ball would typically be heavier, and you're just trying to go for a straight ball there. When you're trying to hit the left side or the right side. But I don't know bowling to the level where I can talk to it.
You do.
No, there's bowlers
back.
listening to this.
This is the first time I've ever seen you kind of like smirk holding back, because it feels like a topic you don't want to go into.
You don't want people to know how into it you are.
There might
I'm
be
not
a
into it. I haven't bowled
below Borelli's. Like if you go into a trap door, you might find a couple lanes in the basement.
I'm not good at bowling at all, and I haven't been bowling in 10 years. I just remember this from my childhood of, like, we would always go. Like, I'd go with my dad, my mom got into it, my sisters would go, and, like, we weren't joining a league, but, like, we'd like to go on the nights where they turn the lights down, and, like, it would be a whole thing. Like, it'd be like a party. This crew might have to go bowling at some point.
I think the next travel series we fit in a little bowling.
Let's throw bowling in there.
And I don't want any expectations. Like, I could shoot. I could. Do you call it a shoot? See, I don't even know.
No, you bowl.
Oh, you playing? Now you're playing.
Do you roll a number?
Yeah,
right.
Is it a ball? It's a round ball, isn't it? Is that what it is? Oh, you roll it down the lanes.
Call it a fairway, or is it what is it that you put it down there? I don't know.
All I know now is that you guys, Frankie specifically, were being mean when you said that I would bowl an 88. That's mean. I feel like it's mean.
88 saying he's not a decent athlete. That's what 88.
I just think it's a lot of sevens and eights.
If you bowl like a 115, it's like average.
Do you think if we win and we played 3 games, I feel like 3 games is standard.
Yeah.
If we went, the 4 of us, would the lowest number posted be higher than 88?
No. There'd be one round where somebody gets off the wheels.
77.
And they just.
All right, we got to do it. Next travel series, we'll find a bowling alley and we'll do it.
I like that. I think Frankie is the odds-on favorite to clean
see that's
he's gonna bowl at 215 and be like, "Whoa!"
I may love.
He's gonna have his own shoes. He's gonna have his own ball. He's gonna have one of those special fucking rags that like cleans it right. Proper.
Yeah, like Big Lebowski. I might like the sport of bowling. I'm not saying I'm good at it. Just like I fucking live and breathe hockey. I can't get on the ice with you guys. Like I'm not expected to score any higher than you are. I just happen to like it.
Yeah, no.
You live and breathe bowling. Is that what you're saying?
You're a bowler.
I'm not a bowler. I wouldn't consider myself a bowler. I think you have to bowl. I haven't bowled. I've showed up to a bowling alley with friends before, and maybe 5 times in the last 10 years. That's not a bowler. Come on. Carl's a bowler.
If your family has balls, you're a bowling family.
Yeah. We don't have balls anymore. We did. I may have. There was a time in which I was a bowler.
Is there one bowling ball in your home?
Right now.
Yeah, there's a bowling ball somewhere. Somewhere there's a bowling ball.
Hanging around his dad's wrist guard that he has, which I'll tell you what, not many families have that wrist guard either.
Nothing easier for my mind to accomplish than picturing Mr. Borelli as a bowler. I will say.
No problem.
He's
That's
just
easy.
It's the pop. You got to hear the pop. Right when he releases it, goes, and you're like, come on, dude. You're not trying to get that pop.
Holy shit.
If you see an alligator on the course, the goal isn't to be the fastest, but to not be the slowest. Trifecta keeps you lean so you can outrun your foursome if needed. You spend 5 hours each weekend playing golf. You can spend 2 minutes a day preparing Trifecta. That's all it takes. You don't have to suffer to eat healthy. Convenience is the key here. It's the goal. You save time rather than having to spend hours and hours meal prepping every week, cleaning, meal prepping, cooking, buying all the groceries, all the ingredients. Nope. They got science-backed nutrition. All of Trifecta's meals follow scientific nutritional principle. Food quality is our priority. Fresher food, farm to fork supply chain, never frozen. It's organic produce. No wasted time cooking or cleaning. You just heat and boom, you get healthy. It's that simple. You can shop meal plans and get 40% off with code FORE at trifectanutrition.com. That is trifectanutrition.com. up to 40% off on meal plans with the code Fore. We're all trying to get a little healthier. All right, we're all starting to get older. We talk about how pathetic our bodies are. In order to get healthier, it can be difficult. You don't know exactly what kind of food you should be eating. You got to look stuff up. You get tired, sick of it. You can just go buy fast food or something on the way home because you're over all this BS. Trifecta Nutrition, right? That's your answer.
It's tough, man, especially the lead up to the holidays. Like December might be the least healthy month that you can imagine. So what I've been doing is, because I'm going home in the next week or so, and that is not as much as Lurch, but it's going to be a feast at the household. So you got to lead up to that trip. I've been trying to eat as much Trifecta as I can just to like mitigate the damage to a certain point, because once I take off and land in Cedar Rapids, that's a wrap.
What's the first thing you're eating?
Well, actually today, Sunday, that we're recording, was baking day. I couldn't make it because I'm not back home yet.
Back in Iowa was baking day?
Yeah, my mom, it's a tradition that she gets as many people
nice.
together as she can, and they bake a bunch of goodies. They bake a bunch of cookies and Fool's Toffee and just all of this stuff. And then I missed it. Like I said, I'm not there. I'm still in New York City. But as soon as I land and I get to the house, it's just in piles around the kitchen, and I just wander around and grab as much as I can.
Fatty fat. Come here, fatty
Yeah,
fat.
and they have an endless, supply of soda at the house. So yeah, it's
farts at the table.
like it's just, I'm so happy to see them. They're so happy to see me. The vibes are great, and we're just eating. My family is similar to Lurch's in that, like, we do our strong bond of ours is around food. So when I get there, my dad is just like, "Let's go, let's do this, let's do it now."
I think how
I don't
pumped
get
he is. Like his wife, your mom, is cooking up all this food, and he doesn't have like probably a true eater next to him. Two of you just sit back and you're like, yeah, let's get another one. Let's crack another one. Yeah, one more little side cake or whatever the case is.
Right. He'll do the thing where everybody's done and it's like later in the night, and I'll be just kind of hanging around, and he'll be like, "Oh, did you try any of that whatever over there?" And then if I go do it, and I know to now, it opens the door for him to be like, "I'll try a little with you." Because otherwise my mom will be like, "Why are you eating so late?" And it's just kind of becomes a thing. But if I'm there, I'm a buffer where we're both eating it and it's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. That's real
It is nice.
That is nice.
It's exciting,
you gotta watch,
too. What's your mom's top item that she makes?
I mean, there's a lot, but I really do like the Fool's Toffee. Do you guys know what Fool's Toffee is?
No.
I'm not going to be able to explain it because it's my mom makes it and I just eat it, but it's a delicious, delicious thing that she makes, and I eat the most of it when I'm back home. When I'm back, I'll send you guys a picture of it. It's just really, really good. It's one of her specialties.
Did I send you a picture of what the chocolates my neighbor makes?
You sent a picture to me, yeah.
Dude, these little chocolates, it's a square cube. She gets this chocolate imported from like England, I think, and it's the softest milk chocolate you've ever tasted in your life. The chocolate is encasing about 3 marshmallows in each cube. Peanut butter's whipped inside there, and then just the slightest piece of nut. Now, whether it's a peanut or maybe an almond is in there, I'm not sure. It might be an almond, shavings of almond. And you bite into these things, and it melts in your mouth, but then you get the slightest bit of crunch in there with all the peanut butter. Dude, it always comes in a tin. It's a nightmare how much chocolate you end up eating. Because the tin's filled, and you're popping them like popcorn. And you're like, if this wasn't a wrapper, the wrappers would be to the fucking ceiling. But because they're exposed chocolates, I've now eaten 45 pieces of exposed chocolate. It would be unimaginable if you had those in wrappers. That amount of chocolate. Like if you went by ounces, I had an unimaginable amount of chocolate the other night.
T, I just looked up Fool's Toffee. That stuff's great. I know that stuff, and it's easy to eat. It's super sweet, super covered in butter, but it's outrageously good. Yeah. And speaking of bad eating, actually,
here we go.
How's your update? Because we've got many people have been requesting via emails and others updates on your juice cleanse and just your general eating habits over the last few days or weeks.
T, anything you want to say before I get into the weeds?
I just want to say that Frankie and I are the undercard in this. We gave our experiences that we have when we go home and we eat, and now the main event is about to start.
No. You're an eater, T. I think you're definitely varsity. I think if you were gonna break down eating, though, my family, I think, is world class. I think we're Woods echelon eaters. Like we're in that, maybe not Woods, but we're a Kisner level of eating in this world. Like
I'm starving right now.
Oh, it's the best.
I think you give yourself the credit of the Woods, because what you've explained on this show in the past is prodigy level stuff.
It
On
is
the top, yeah, for sure.
I have been eating much, much healthier. Now I do have setbacks. Yesterday I had a terrible eating day. Actually, I started hot, and then we played paddle all day. I actually did the same thing. Ubered home. It was a big drinking day, but we went to Val's, kind of local bar here, and I just couldn't stop eating the pizza. I think I probably had 8 slices I had a whole pie last night, I think. And then I woke up this morning, I was hungover, and actually, so I had a police car all weekend. I was driving around an Axon fleet vehicle. So I had like license plate, the drone came out of the top. So I had to drive that back to Pennsylvania today, and then pick up my car. And I was trying to have a good day, but then I was like, you know what, let's just settle in. And so I wake up this morning. I know that I have to drive this back to PA. My brother's like, I'll give you a ride. I get in his car. It's 9:15. He's got a pack of gummy bears in the middle. We're just snacking on the gummy bears at 9:15. And I was like, this is just so bad. And then I went to a local spot and picked up a pork roll this morning, but I get double pork, double egg on it. So it's a thick thing. And had that, and then I was like, no, we got to get this thing back under control, so I am not eating, and I'm going to have bone broth tonight, because weight's a real issue, and as we get older, it's harder to lose. So I was probably in the 265 range pre-juice cleanse. I think I bumped it back down to 252 or something like that. I'm probably living at 258 to 262 right now. I definitely put back the LBs, but I'm more cautious. Like T was talking about the emotional connection that you have with food. And that's what my brother and I are like, are talking about now, about how we still have fun together that's not always eating. That's an issue, because we have the most fun when we've got like 4 plates of wings and we're ready to go. I mean, so good, so fun. I mean, when we were kids, we would have 7 chicken breasts for dinner. I think I've told this on this story. And he'd have 3, I'd have 3, and then we'd look to see who was going to eat the last one.
So just to be clear, the first thing that entered your system this morning was gummy bears.
It was gummy bears. Okay. Yeah, gummy bears. And
you wash it down with a double pork, double egg pork roll. No, yeah, I'm starving right now. We're recording at 5:20 on Sunday. I have not decided what I'm eating. We're not doing Sunday sauce here this weekend. They're a little busy at the restaurant, so there's no pasta being made in the Borelli house. Unfortunately, my dad's at the restaurant, my mom's at the restaurant. So maybe I'll just go to the restaurant tonight. I don't know. I'm really fucking hungry. I'm really fucking hungry, and like when I'm really hungry, I can eat my share. I'm a thin, rarely guy, but like I can definitely eat when I'm very fucking hungry. Like when we were at fucking Punk the other day, I had 11 slices of pizza that day.
Whoa.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man.
7 before
Good
the
job,
show.
Frank.
7 before the show. I had 5 regular slices and 2 clam pie slices. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to play in this concert if I keep going. And then post show, they had 5 pizzas from the place that I had gone pre-show, and I had to finish it off with 2 slices from the clam pie again and 2 slices from the regular. Like two. When you switch toppings, it's essentially starting over. So you eat the 2 regular margarita slices, you're like, oh, that was one thing. Now I'm eating a clam pie. It's a totally different thing. Garlic and oil, whole new taste bud system. Like everything's just re-entering your body. So yeah,
how
11.
fun is it when you're just settling in and just eating like that?
Well,
like when you can continue, because the food is so good. Food is so tasty.
Yeah.
And when there's so many different types of food that you can really enjoy. And so if you're just not getting full, yeah, it's an issue. Like if you're eating 11, you're just going to be obese at a certain point. But like sometimes if you eat 2, you're like, it's just so good. I would keep eating. But like normal people, I think, I don't know, have 2 slices. What's an average eater?
I will
2?
say pizza fills me up quick.
2 to 3.
2 to 3 normally.
2, you're just getting going.
Depends on the slice. So Sally's in New Haven is thin crust, man. So you might as well be eating 10 of them, and it's basically 3 Borellis. Like we just have thicker cheese pizzas. But it's also like what you're saying. Food just brings you together. Like to tie it into the golf. Joey LaCava Jr. was in the back green room post show, and we had all these pizzas, and it's like I was eating while I'm talking to him. I'm like, guys, you gotta have some of this pizza. Try this out. Like, you guys know New Haven pizza. We're all eating pizza, talking to each other. So it is. You don't even realize how many you're going down. You're walking around. You have 2 slices on a little paper plate. Before you know it, you're looking at the pie again. You're like, oh, I might as well just keep going. I'm walking and talking and eating. I'm working this off as I go. I stepped on a scale the other day. I was 174.5.
What are you normally sitting at? Like, if you were like,
I'm rail thin, dude. I've got arms the size of fucking Q-tips, so it's like the fat. I don't know what I'm supposed to be. Right? Like the weight's in the wrong spots. I've got
if I
a
look at you,
barrel
I think you were.
cum
I
belly
think you
on
were
that.
165, a 165 guy.
Yeah,
I would agree
bad
with that.
posture, bad fucking
Probably what you
gut.
should
I've
be
got
at.
little mini
I'm
tits.
gonna do a weigh-in later. I'm gonna do a weigh-in, official weigh-in later. T-Daddy,
bet I'm about-
you tip it or Riggs?
I'm probably about 201, 202 right now.
It's a healthy
Which,
weight.
no, I would say that's about 15 to 20 pounds heavier than I was in college when I was obviously in my peak condition.
How do you guys feel about the fact that I
40
don't?
pounds heavier.
Yeah,
than
I would say I'm probably
Yeah.
about I'm about 242 right now. I would guess.
Huge.
Okay.
How about
It's huge.
what do you guys think? I mean, it's 70 pounds, everything. What do you think about the fact that I don't give myself 6 foot? I had this conversation over the weekend with some friends. I'm 5'11". I've been to some doctors where they say I'm 6 foot because I have my shoes on. I just don't feel like I'm allowed to say 6 foot.
I'm in the same boat. I'm 5'11 and 3/4 my whole life. And well, when I was fully grown, every time I went to the doctor, 5'11 and 3/4, 5'11 and 3/4. And yeah, I could get by saying I'm 6 foot, but I don't think I'm a 6 foot guy. I'm just not.
No, same.
And I'd feel like I was lying. Like I
Well,
just
in
couldn't-
shoes, you are definitely 6 foot. When you
For
tell
sure.
them 6 feet, you're standing 6 feet tall. So like, it's not a lot.
I just always like
same
be
boat.
true. I try to be true to myself, and I'm 5'11 and 3/4.
I say 5'11".
Riggs, I thought you were 6 feet. No.
I'm in the same boat as Trent. It's always been like 5'11 and 3/4 or like even a little bit closer, but not truly when they fucking would pat down on your head and you got no shoes or socks on. It wouldn't quite be at 6. You know, I mean, college hockey, I was listed at like 6'1", you know? So like, you know,
Football,
obviously
same
you
thing.
got to juice the numbers there. But
Oh, yeah.
in reality, like I'm also never really in a situation where I would need to say 6 foot to impress anyone. Like if I'm in a conversation like with you idiots, I don't care if you think I'm 5'11 or 6 foot, doesn't matter. And like, what am I going to be in a situation where a girl is like, this is make or break if you say 5'11 or 6 foot? It's just
Right.
like,
No,
so
you're
I
in the
usually
right
just
range.
like,
Right, and
yeah,
5'11 is a height that's not controversial. Like
Totally.
if you get down lower in the 5s, people start to get like they get mad about it, and they're
You're
like,
not my father.
Right.
You're my boss.
right, 5'11. It's like you call me 5'11 and not 6 foot. Like that's not going to start a war. Like I'm totally okay
You're
with it.
not my father or my boss or God.
It is,
No, 5'11's a good height.
yeah,
it is
I would
crazy
say like,
because like I'm 3 to 4 inches taller than you guys, and it's, in the pictures I look
Oh,
like I'm a foot and a
Gargantuan.
half big. Yeah, just gargantuan. Honestly, gargantuan.
even that one with Harry Higgs, like you made Trent look like a little baby. The whole, like the picture
Okay.
is, I don't
did.
know. I'm not, that's not what it's like in real life. I don't know why. it
Right.
looks
Did you guys
like
see
that
the
in photos.
Pornhub like searches? KFC did a KFC did a 1 Minute Man on it. Like the Pornhub searches of 2020 came out where 2021 came out where like it's the most searched word in each state, and it was a whole map coming straight from the porn site. And Idaho was like giantism, and like everyone then had to go search what that was. And it's essentially they remake like Godzilla films where like the girls are like walking around these cities and they're like fucking stepping over shit and guys are getting off to it. But my point for bringing that up is like Lurch would fucking excel.
well, that sounds like an OnlyFans for Lurch.
Giantism.
So you're saying giantism? So I should just create a small city and walk around it and stomp on it, and people are gonna get off to this?
Yeah, like you
That's
just
right.
like your
Okay.
big feet and like just fucking like
You can use real cities.
right. That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
that's right.
You don't even need to spend money on the little on the
You don't need a set. Just start walking around the city.
Just put up all the pictures of you standing next to us and put that on a giantism OnlyFans, and I think you're gonna
OnlyFans
get
account.
The amazing thing about the Lurches is, have you guys met Lurch's brother?
Well,
I
he's
have
just
not.
a twin.
He dwarfs Lurch.
Really?
Yeah, he's big. Oh yeah.
Oh.
No. I mean, he's 6'6", 6'7". I'm like 6'3", 6'4", but he's a big body. I mean, in high school, he was a pretty big. If he had a meaner like streak in him, he would have been a big football recruit. He was like a gentle giant, but he was in high school. He was 6'6", 6'7", 285.
But he's similar to you in that, like, he wears it athletically, and, you know, you guys play paddle and tennis, and you're just two giant creatures walking around.
Yeah, these guys are science experiments. Sure. That's insane. The reason I brought up the height in the beginning is because over the weekend we had the debate of, like, would you rather be, and this is a common age-old debate, would you rather be 8.5 feet tall, or, like, would you rather be an 8-foot freak, or 2.5 feet or 3 feet?
A small person, I would rather be 8.5 feet tall.
Right.
And I don't even think it's that close.
I think so too.
So,
but can you, if you're 8.5 feet tall, can you get on an airplane? Can you, like, do
yeah,
no
you
way.
couldn't play in the NBA.
You can.
No, the caveat was that you're just you're an 8.5.
You're a normal person at 8. Okay, I was.
You work with my buddy Rob.
Financial.
You work with my buddy Rob, where you never smile at work. You're just 8.5 feet, sitting there plugging in like medical equipment, like doing fucking analyzing if the medical equipment's worth the fucking company.
You're
just like
you're Will Ferrell and Elf. Everything is just not fitting to your size.
I watched that movie the other day.
It's a great movie.
So my point was, and I think either way, it's obviously you drew the short straw. My thing is that it?
One way you definitely did.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that when you're 8.5 feet tall, you're like a marvel. Like, people look at you and they go like, "Oh my God, look at that guy." At least it's somewhat positive. Like the look, you know what I mean? Like, it's somewhat like, "Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. That guy should be in a museum."
And you're marking that down as a positive.
Yeah, because the other way, it's like if you're 2.5 feet tall, you're just
2.5 is short.
Sort of like just forgotten about. Like, where you're just like,
Come on.
well, no, it's not. But you know what I mean? You're just like,
what do you?
Wow, like he can't do anything. That guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Hold on, before we go too far into that, what do you? In which body is life easier? Because like if you're not in the NBA and you're 8.5 feet tall, like Riggs is like you can't do any public transportation. You're out on that. Everything's specialty made. And like if you're saying the financial benefits that you can't work with, I don't know, companies that want to work with just massively large people as some sort of advertisement. So you're just working with Rob, you're miserable, and you have a 9-to-5 job where you like make an okay check, but you're not bragging about it and you go home. I almost think that being 8.5 feet tall is harder to live life.
I know, I'm thinking that too.
2.5
Bro, the reason I pick 8.5
your
is
life's
because
harder, man.
the standard ceiling, I think, is 8 feet tall in most houses, right?
Yeah,
like the
dude.
standard.
Your life is a
you're
nightmare.
yucking everywhere.
Your life is a
I mean,
nightmare.
literally, he or she should be wearing a helmet at all times because you're just clipping everything. So, and the food bill, how much is this guy eating? This guy's got to be eating all the time to keep himself going.
How big of a toilet would you have to be like able to
Totally.
use the rest? You know, it's the whole thing is.
I think I'm still sticking with 8.5 feet. I think if you're walking down the street in the city, I think at least like everyone's like oohing and ahhing you.
Bro, you would grow to hate that. You would resent those people. Like at first, yeah, maybe like, oh, look at me, I'm huge. This is so cool and so much fun. And then when you just want to walk down the street to get a coffee, and people are like, look at that fucking guy. Like it's less, it's
so
less
when we were growing up,
Right.
my brother was 6 feet tall in the 8th grade. He was like 6 or 6'1" in the 8th grade.
Wow.
So, you know, we go over to dinner parties or something like that, and they're like, look how tall this guy is, like back to back. And my brother was like, fucking look elsewhere. This is brutal. Every comment is about my height. Like, can I just be a regular person or somebody that just gets like not stared at all day long?
Well, and everybody's gonna say, "Oh, that guy must play basketball." And then when they go up to you and be like, "What team you on?" They'll be like, "I don't play basketball." Then be like, "Disappointing."
Yeah.
So, all right. So the main debate was like, would you rather be 8.5 feet tall or Hezbollah? Because we were talking about Hezbollah, and Hezbollah.
I want to be Hezbollah now.
Right. So do I. But the Hezbollah is Hezbollah because he's Hezbollah. He's a 1 in a billion. He might as well be Muhammad Ali. His personality, his pizzazz. He's a firecracker. He's punching people in the face. He's spraying them with hoses.
He's awesome.
He's the best creation on this planet, regardless of height. But my point is, like, if you're just regular Hasbulla, people thought Hasbulla was a baby boy. He's 18 years old. They thought he was a child. Dave tweeted out, wait, Hasbulla's 18? Like, that would be a tough way to live, walking around looking like a baby. And he's like 2.5 feet tall. So, yeah, like, that's a tough way to live. I think I'd rather be the 8.5 foot tall guy. At least you're just like, at least you're like a person.
Neither is a good spot to be. Like, if we're going to be honest, both stink. But I'm gonna go with being 8.5 feet tall. I'll just be 8.5 feet tall.
Well, they stink because both just make your life harder than it needs to be, right?
So
that's just what just sucks. Is like life already is impossible. Everybody's going through shit all the time, day by day, and now it's just made infinitely harder for no reason. It's like there's no there's no good reason. It's just like, Joe, I don't want to be 1,000,000 feet tall, or I don't want to be 2 less feet tall. I just want to be like able to get through shit relatively normally, so that it's not already fucking way harder than it has to be.
How tall is a small person? What is that height?
I think it varies. I mean, like Za is the tallest fucking. Za is a brick shithouse.
Yeah,
Za wears like a large T-shirt. He wears like a large.
Yeah, he literally does. Like it doesn't like. There's no. I don't think there's like a definitive range.
I didn't know if there was like a range. Like if I was gonna say like
no.
Human beings males are probably between 5'2" and
I don't know
7, 8.
I'm going 2.5. Final answer.
I would say to go back to our original discussion. I think there's a much larger difference between claiming you're 5'9" or 5'10" than 5'11" and 6 foot.
Good rap. Yeah. Next topic. Yeah.
I think that's right.
Right? Like, I think we were saying, like, yeah, I don't really care if somebody says I'm 5'11" or if I'm 6 foot. I do think at that 5'9" level, you want to be able to claim 5'10".
You want double digits there, big time. I mean, big time on the double digit side. I also think you don't want to be, like, much taller than 6'6", but certainly if you're like 6'9" and 6'10", actually they both sound just massive.
I wish I was 6'2".
6'2"?
6'2" is nice.
Is beautiful.
Like Tiger's like 6'2", I think. That's
right.
Perfect.
That's a beautiful height to be.
People always think that I'm going to be taller. Like I met some guy who was at the Ranger game the other day, and he was like, Lurch. And like he was like my size. He was like, dude, I thought you were going to be like 6'10". I was like, no, man. I don't know why in pictures.
Because you photograph like 6'10" for some reason.
It's crazy. It's so weird.
If you've ever wanted to make your home feel safer, there's no better time than right now. This week, our friends at SimpliSafe are giving Foreplay listeners early access to all of their holiday deals, which their holiday deals are awesome. 40% off award-winning home security. Look, SimpliSafe is simply the best. They're named the best home security system of 2021 by U.S. News and World Report. You can easily customize a system for your home online in minutes, even get free custom recommendations from SimpliSafe. These are SimpliSafe's biggest discounts of the year. You can get a complete home security system starting at just over $100. No long-term contracts or commitments. It's a very easy way to start feeling a lot more peace of mind at your home. You can take advantage of SimpliSafe's holiday deals and get 40% off your new home security system by visiting SimpliSafe.com/foreplay. That is SimpliSafe.com/foreplay for 40% off your entire system. Feel safer at home. It's very, very simple. It's not fees or complications with installation. It's just very easy. They make it easy, yet they're also still the best. And you can get 40% off by going to SimpliSafe.com/foreplay.
Any other major takeaways from the PNC? I was trying to think of a couple more, but I mean,
Henrik
Charlie
Stenson
and Tiger were
and his son, Stenson's son, was the youngest participant of all time.
Very funny at the dinner the night before.
Very funny at the dinner the night before. Like the definition of a kid that isn't thrown into the limelight as much as the Charlie Woods, and he gets the reaction I think most people want. The people that hate on the reaction for Charlie Woods, I think, want the same reaction that Henrik Stenson's son gets, where it's like a very cute, funny thing that he's out there. He kind of like blows you away with how good he is. He's super tiny. He's like 11 years old. And then like he just kind of goes away and he just becomes a kid forever. And he doesn't have like a name. He doesn't have expectations. But he's just not Charlie Woods. He hasn't been in our lives as much as Charlie Woods has in the last 2 or 3 years. He's not Tiger Woods' son. So yeah, that was my biggest takeaway with that. It was a pretty major difference between the two young kids playing. And then aside from that, Nelly Korda, who was freaking out over meeting Tiger, was awesome.
That was really cool.
Best female golfer on the planet. Couldn't believe that she got to fulfill what she called a dream come true to meet Tiger Woods and take a picture with him. And then today he was talking to her on the putting green, giving her tips and like all these things they were talking about putting apparently. And she said it's just, I mean, that's the
She
greatest.
looked like us when she met
She's
him.
the greatest
like
female golfer on the planet. And they just, her mind melted. That's just what Tiger does. Her dad's a tennis major champion.
Won the Australian Open, I believe.
Outrageous. Yeah. Family. I mean, Seb Korda is like a tennis prodigy. He's probably, I don't know, one of the best young American tennis players. That family is just a bunch of freak athletes.
Lurch, did you watch King Richard yet? Have I talked about that on this podcast?
Yeah. I don't know if we've talked about it on this podcast, but I watched it.
How great of a movie is that?
Yeah, really good. The only thing I didn't like is that King Richard, I think he had like editing credit, which I wish he didn't have, just because I think he could have been portrayed like differently, or I don't know, more honestly. I'm very interested in and about him, but that was an incredible movie, and shout out Will Smith does like just an outrageous job in that. But those daughters, and it shows you, it does, Venus was such a prodigy. It's such a cool story, and then obviously what Serena's done, it's amazing. But it was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it was a really cool. Oh my god, it's a really cool look into the conversation we've had about golf with Tiger, where it's like, is it worth it to raise your kids the Earl Woods style and the Richard Williams style, where
they're
it's
cut
like,
from the same cloth? Yeah,
cut from the same exact cloth. The only option was to become the best of all time, and he was going to stop at nothing to have that happen, and it happened. So he caught lightning in a bottle. Happened to have super athletic children that just figured out how to play tennis. They loved it, and then they went on to become the best of all time. Tiger Woods just happened to have the ability to be able to be Tiger Woods. Also had the father that was able to groom him. But like, do you take that risk as a parent? Because it fails.
Well,
Every other time. The ones that don't fail, they make movies about. The ones
it fails
that
a
do
billion
fail,
times out of a billion and one,
Right.
a billion and two. It fails a billion times out of a billion and two.
Yeah, and the other ones, right, are the psychotic parents who are screaming, banging on the glass, or they're like lecturing their kids every minute after every game, and it's like there's a ton of that goes on. Especially, we're at that age now where we all know people that are like youth sports like coaches, and they talk about the shit that they deal with psychotic parents and stuff. So yeah, no, it's not. I don't think it's like worth it. I think we're lucky that Tiger Woods happened, that Tiger Woods made the sacrifices that he did, whether he had the choices or not, because like we get to just be super fans and be all giddy whenever he's on television and how inspirational he is. But like, we've talked a lot about like, would I rather be like Tiger Woods or, myself or another person or whatever, based on like their pure happiness and the fishbowl of what he's really gone through. So it's a wildly difficult question. I'm excited to watch King Richard because I don't really know that story as well as I obviously know the Tiger story and all that.
It's on HBO Max. I can't recommend it enough. I feel like every person that likes sports in general should watch this movie. I already put it in like my top 10 sports movies of all time, maybe top 5. Just because of the performances, man. Like I really was like drawn into it. Like, yeah, there's a million good sports movies. Miracle, I fucking love Miracle. Like that's probably my favorite sports movie of all time. The Greatest Game Ever Played is maybe my favorite sports movie of all time.
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans is another great one. Like, but like I'm telling you, dude, the way that King Richard makes you feel, it's a totally different type of story. It's not like a team. It's just this dad with his 2 daughters and like the stuff they went through. And yeah, I do wish, because I went in and like read a lot of reviews about people that like probably knew a little bit more about Richard and like the scene like with the police officers, like it probably was a little more messy than the way that they when they're coming in being like, what are you doing to these children playing in the rain? Like were they actually like laughing, or were they like fucking hysterically crying because like the dad was forcing them to play tennis in the pouring rain, like, and a neighbor probably saw them, but like in the movie he's like, these girls wanted to play.
He's portrayed as like a hero the whole time.
Totally. Like that there was some other shit going on, because like there just had to have been, like the way that he parented them. So fuck, it's a great movie though. It is a fantastic movie. I can't recommend it enough. It's long, but it's great. I can't wait for the Tiger one.
Was it 2+ hours? I don't even remember.
I think it was like 2 hours and 25 minutes or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great watch. It's also a great story. It's incredible.
Yeah.
but I'm not that type of parroting.
You think we'll ever get a Tiger Woods one? Like the whole story with Earl being casted as...
No.
Really?
No, because like in terms of any more access to Tiger than we've currently got, no. Like that's what it would require, right? Because I feel like Armakatayan and them did like as in-depth as you could without having Tiger Woods on your side.
Now that would that would have been a fucking fantastic movie though. The Armakatayan book.
I think what would you have needed? Like Richard is a person that wants credit. I think that Earl was probably that way too, where if Earl was still alive, we'd have a better chance of it because he might push it to take credit and document kind of the success of Tiger. But with him gone, there's no way Tiger is going to open up, a can of worms of like his, upbringing, his childhood, what he went through. I think what he shared today, I don't think we're going to get too much more.
I don't think I could see in 20 years, I'm sitting down watching TV and all of a sudden, whatever programs at that point, Netflix 2.0, whatever it's going to be, will be like The Woods is coming out in summer of 2047. And it's just,
but maybe
you won't believe.
But similar
it will just be retelling stories. It won't be like factual from the people. Like it will just be, a documentary like about the book and trying to piece together the stories rather than like truly from their mouth.
Right, similar to what the critiques that you're giving King Richard, where like it would have to come from Tiger, and you're not going to get the real version that everybody wants. It's just not
right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, right, we want that in book and documentary form. I just want the movie. I want everything I've ever heard, everything I've ever read. I want to see on the silver screen. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want Tiger's story to be the greatest game ever played. Like, make it a fluff piece. Make it him winning the 2019 Masters and have someone that looks exactly like Tiger Woods be the actor and Charlie and, like, him driving to the golf course. Like, make up whatever you want to make up. I want a movie that makes $100 billion at the box office of Tiger Woods' amazing story and it come out on Disney Plus and we all go fucking crazy.
There honestly might be too much material. Like, the material is still being written.
I know.
Like, it was like... If it had ended at the 2019 Masters, then maybe you have a movie that you can make. Now I just feel like even with that, there's still just so much stuff.
Dude, I went back last week and was watching the HBO Tiger docuseries again based on the book, and it's awkward watching that as it starts to wrap up because you're like, there's so much that they didn't get to include in this, and it came out fucking 2 years ago. Like, there's so much that they missed that they weren't able, and even in the HBO version, they were actually able to add Tiger winning the Masters in 2019 and stuff. But in the book, like when you read this book that they spent 5 years on, and how comprehensive we went through the list of how many hours, hundreds of hours of golf footage they watched, books that they read, everything they could come up with, and the book ends with like, it looks like Tiger might try to reemerge on the PGA Tour, and there's some promising that. And like a year after the book comes out, he wins the fucking Masters. It's like, and then a year after that, he gets in the car accident, almost dies, and then he had the title. Like it's like they missed half the story.
I will say that part of my takeaway from this weekend at the PNC, just I kept having the thought that like it just never ends. The interesting things that happen to this guy never, ever end. Like, we think the 2019 Masters was going to be the end. Then the car crash happens. Now he's doing this other comeback. And now he's got this son who might grab the torch and sprint away with it. We don't know yet, but it could happen. Like, it just never, ever – he never stops being interesting. Like, I don't know. I wonder if he realized that about himself. I'm sure that he does. I wonder in what way. But at a certain point, he's got to think, like, my life has no dull points. It never ever stops being interesting to the outside public. That either drives him crazy or he doesn't realize it or whatever. But like the Tiger Woods saga, it just keeps on going and it's never gonna stop.
He's done enough in his life where in 1,000 years he could have a religion based off of him. There's enough. Let's put if Tiger Woods did what he did and there was no phones or cameras, like almost like 0 AD or whatever, like when Jesus was around, if there were no phones and cameras and there was just these transcriptions of like what Tiger has accomplished in his life, he would be Jesus. And I know that might be a controversial like thing to say. I know, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if that's like a bad thing to say. I know John Lennon got in a lot of trouble about that when he compared himself to, he said he was bigger than Jesus in 1964. I think he's like, I'm bigger than Jesus Christ. And like everyone burned, Beatles records in the
Do
streets.
you think that's going to happen to us?
Stuff. Well, my point is, like, I think
people burning their iPhones while listening to the Foreplay podcast.
Listen very carefully. You
good for Apple.
Anyone that's going to get mad at this, you're weird. And number two, listen to what I'm saying very carefully. If Tiger Woods had existed in a world which does not exist, where he was accomplishing all of these things that we know and love about Tiger Woods, the stories, the comebacks, the triumph, and we had no way of documenting it except for a couple guys writing it into some scrolls. Within 1,000 years, there would be a church of this guy. They'd think that he had some sort of godlike power. I mean, you think back to like these early Roman days and all the stuff that people like glorified these gods for. They were superhuman types of people, especially like the athletes in ancient Greece. Tiger Woods is a fucking god amongst men. He is. He's what humans can consider gods. Like, what else? How much higher can you get?
It's sort of Bobby Jones, right? Like Bobby Jones, he was just at the time. Yeah, there's some photos and there's like some black and white footage of some stuff here and there, but he's become in the golf world a godlike figure with Augusta National, right? He's like a spirit that like built Augusta National,
right?
And he gets talked about, all week long during every Masters, and it's sort of. You're right. Like if there were just a bunch of interviews with him and like normal footage, it probably wouldn't be that way. It'd be like,
100%.
Yeah,
dude.
there's Bobby, just swinging away and winning tournaments.
Bro,
but now
it's the Babe Ruth effect too. It's a Babe Ruth effect. You just have these like, you have these titles in these old newspapers like Babe Ruth did it again. It's like, who the fuck was this guy?
But think about it this way. There has been a lot of coverage of Tiger Woods. A lot of media, social media has been birthed since a couple comebacks ago, and we still, with all that knowledge, refer to him as a god. So
we crave more. We crave more, dude.
Yeah,
right.
We know more about Tiger Woods and his life than anyone will ever know about any of our lives for the rest of our lives combined, and we still crave more.
Right.
We need more.
And we refer to him as a deity pretty regularly. We're like we're pretty sure this guy's a god.
I changed every part of my weekend plan to sit down and watch him play in a meaningless golf tournament with his son in December because he is Tiger fucking Woods. And think about like a month ago, we were in the middle of an 8-month silence where we didn't know anything about Tiger Woods. We had no clue if he was going to ever be in public again. Is he going to do an interview again? And then he just, out of the clouds, like the godlike figure that he is, he just posted a 3-second video of his golf swing. And since that moment, it's changed our lives.
It's really ramped up really quickly. To the point,
a finite amount of people that have made an impact on the planet, and he's one of them. You know what I mean? There's billions of people in the world constantly being born and dying, and he's just one of like a speck of people that have gotten so famous and so like influential. It's hard to compute the numbers of how many people. Right, and deliver. But, like, because of his delivery, he is who he is, right? So it's like, there's only 3 or 4 people in all sport that you can even compare him to.
Right. Think about in the last 100 years how many just generally professional athletes there have been. Just in all sports, across all of them. And how many do you remember? You remember Ali, you remember MJ, you remember Tiger. That's really pretty much, Babe Ruth is another one. So you got 4 guys over the past 100 years in every professional sport.
Maradona, should we give some love to the soccer?
You can. I don't know as much about him as the other 4. But like
Wayne Gretzky,
still,
maybe.
There's no way we're getting to double digits. You know what I mean? There's no way. So all those, however many people have played all these professional sports since that time, there's a handful of people that we remember, and Tiger is obviously one of them.
It's not even just golf. It's like he was like just the way he transcended, like just like race. Like at the time when he was growing up, all like the race stuff that was happening with golf too. He completely broke all those barriers, and like it's just like,
dude, when he
fucking
came back
crazy
in 2010, and he just did a press conference for 10 minutes talking about his own scandal. They interrupted every channel and news channel in the world to like bring Tiger Woods in Ponte Vedra Beach reading off a piece of paper for 10 minutes. When he does anything, it takes over every local news, every ESPN show, obviously all the golf and all the golf coverage. It takes over Twitter. I mean, like today, it's NFL. The only thing I saw on my feed was just Tiger and Charlie Woods all over the place.
We talked about this with Pat Perez, and it's amazing thinking about how Tiger has not capitalized on owning. Like Tiger Woods should have a clothing line that the whole world wears.
I mean, that hat that you're wearing is by far the coolest thing they've ever come out with, and that came out like I feel like a year ago. But before that, like, he just hasn't capitalized on the fashion aspect of it like Michael Jordan has. Michael Jordan is the example, and Tiger just didn't do that in golf.
Tiger Woods is so famous that I would argue he's just as famous as like the fucking Pope. And at this point, he should have taken over lifestyle the way Michael Jordan did. He didn't though. Like Michael Jordan took over lifestyle. Like he's a lifestyle brand. Tiger Woods is not. And
how many times do you think his agent has pitched him this and been like, dude, come on, man. Like there is literally $100 million revenue stream like tomorrow.
Annually.
I struggle with the fact, like I struggle with trying to figure out, like, did he become Tiger Woods because of his relationship with Nike? Like, was it all part of the one package where like it never made sense for him to then go on and do his own thing? Like he is just Nike. Like Tiger Woods, his brand was essentially Nike. You know what I mean?
You could argue that same thing with Jordan, right? Jordan, Nike, and then he just becomes this other pillar next to Nike, and they go up.
Yeah.
To be fair, Tiger Woods was making $100 to $120 million a year. Like he wasn't struggling. They did a pretty damn good job. The one thing that they didn't precisely capitalize on, which I don't know that you even can, is basically we're comparing it to the most successful like brand in the history of Earth, which is Jordan shoes and Jordan, which again is like Tiger's done pretty fucking good, but there's not one lasting like Tiger thing where they're going to drop a bunch of new versions of Tiger shoes every year and Tiger's going to make $100 million. Like, and you know, if he's not as active as he is with brands and such, he's not going to make anywhere near what Jordan's been making in the 20 years since he stopped playing.
All I'm saying is that he's one of the most famous people that's ever walked this earth, and he doesn't have the lifestyle impact that he could have by being one of the most famous people on the planet. Like Michael Jordan is also one of the most famous people and successful athletes on the planet, and he will live on forever in this other world. Why are you laughing?
It's funny to hear you make that case while you're wearing his shirt and his hat and everything that goes along with Tiger Woods. I understand what you're saying.
It's a good point because like no one knows like where to get this thing, and this hat wasn't even made by his company. It's like,
but you were it was so funny you looking into the camera and being like, he has done nothing that is gonna last in the fashion world forever. He just hasn't. No, and I know what you're saying.
It's not just fashion. Frankie. It's like we don't hit Tiger Woods clubs. Like for the most famous golfer of all time, he doesn't have like his things that we all as fans of the sport and fans of golfers. Like this is like it's a joke. You know what I mean? Like no one wears red and black on the golf course when they play. So it's like there's nothing that they do. I don't know how to get
Frankie,
it through.
I want to say that I agree with you. It was just a very funny visual. What you're saying is right. Visual. What you're saying is right.
We should have like the Tiger Woods 30, which is a driver that like after all these years, like
totally
30. You know what I mean? Like we all should be using the Tiger Wood, like the wood, like a 3-wood or something, and it should have been that forever because he's the greatest of all time, and we all would have bought it, and it would have been the best club ever. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
We all agree with that. We all agree with that.
Yep.
But it's just very funny watching you say it, wearing what you're wearing.
Well, he's iconic. There's no doubt. He's him being him. I'll forever try and copy him.
I wonder if it just comes down to that he had no interest in that. He was just like, Nike drops off a Brinks truck to my house every year. I don't need to be making my own shoes and my own hats and my own clubs. That'd actually be a very interesting question to ask him.
I would love to ask him that question if we ever got to.
It's a good question.
Like, do you regret or not regret? But like, did you ever think about releasing your own line and dominating golf in that aspect, where every kid for Christmas wanted the Tiger Woods new driver, just like for the video game? He dominated the video game. He did that great.
He did,
but like they kind of did. Like they were like people were using
Nike
Sasquatch drivers, and they were using shit because Tiger Woods did it. Now it might have been that like Nike's just didn't come up with it. Like it's hard to develop just the best club in the world, but like he was also, when he was using those things, he was the best player that's ever existed. So
it was
like
called the Sasquatch. It wasn't like the Jordan 3s. Like it wasn't, you know what I mean? It was the fucking Sasquatch.
Which again, it's hard to compare it to like the most successful brand ever.
It's not though, because they're both very, very comparable. Like you're saying, like for us to compare like foreplay merch would be very hard to compare it to Jordan, but he's fucking Tiger Woods. He could have released a penny with his finger with his face on it. We would have bought it.
I think the bottom line is that there's a very, very, very small number of people who have that opportunity. Michael was one of them. Tiger certainly seems like another one. One guy decided, I'm going to become the biggest and most successful brand of all time. And we don't really know the reason why Tiger decided not to, or if it was, I doubt it was even a conscious decision like that. It was just like, it just didn't happen. I guess
that's what I'm saying. It's not that he decided not to. I think maybe it just didn't take off properly or whatever. But like they were doing it, like you said, with video games, with clothes, with his logo. Like his logo hasn't taken off like the Jordan logo, but it's on shit. Like
it's nothing though. It's like you don't walk around and see the Tiger Woods logo in places. But
I don't think you can equate that to they chose not to do it. Like I think they just maybe didn't do it.
That's what you're both saying.
That's a shame.
That's what makes it a good question for Tiger. It'd be very interesting to hear his thoughts on it. For sure.
Yeah. I would love to have the Woods 37 driver. Like, the 37th fucking edition of his new wood. And it would have been the greatest thing of all time. And we all would have tried to swing like him and done all this stuff. It would have been incredible. Yeah. Instead, whatever.
Most guys have tried different ways to last longer, but thinking about baseball doesn't always work. They do take shots at baseball when they give us the copy. So I'm just reading. Folks at Roman, an online mental health company, I don't know why they chose baseball. Why do you think they didn't choose something else?
Dull, boring, long game.
4-hour game.
I like baseball as much as the next guy, but I would say it is probably the most boring of the major sports.
The regular season baseball is terrible. Playoff baseball is incredible.
That's true.
Love baseball, live and breathe baseball, grew up playing baseball my whole life. But the fact that you can't lose the game while you're up is always why it's been more boring, right? Like if you're up in the game and you're up at bat, someone can just now go to the bathroom and make food because they know that your team's never going to lose the score. You can't like take runs off the board, and the other team can't score when they're on defense. So like I've always found that to be the most boring part of the sport, where it's like, all right, the Yankees are up at bat right now. I can go like grab dinner. I know when I come back, they're still going to be winning.
It's also at one point somebody described baseball to me in that it's the only sport where the defense controls the ball.
And they can't score.
Right. Like in every other sport, the offense controls the ball.
You can't turn it over.
Nope. You can't stop watching a hockey game because at any moment Scotty Mayfield's going to break his stick and they're going to come on a fucking 2-on-1 rush and score right in your face, which happened tonight. You in baseball,
football, you can have a pick six at any moment.
Pick six, soccer, the other way around. Basketball, you have to watch every single shot. I mean, you probably don't because the end of the game's always tight anyway. But my point was with baseball, if you're up 3-1 and the Yankees have their 7 through 9 guys coming up, I'm going to eat another pork roll with Lurch. I mean, what's going to happen? They're going to just the next inning's just going to be 3-1 again because they can't. You know what I mean?
Again,
we're just going to.
We all like baseball.
Oh, we do. We love it.
It is probably the most boring of the major sports.
Well,
until it's sexually arousing sport.
Until
it's electric. It's electric once it is, though.
I mean, postseason baseball is like up there with the best sport. I think postseason hockey 1, postseason baseball is 2 for me.
Correct.
I think that's right.
The folks at Roman, an online men's health company, are changing the game with Roman Swipes, the secret to longer lasting sex. You go to getroman.com/4. You can get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That is the secret to longer lasting sex. That's getroman.com/4. First month, $5. Boom. All right, gentlemen. Wow. What a week. What a weekend. I would say, if you go back 2 months and you were to tell us we are where we are right now, 1 month, however long it's been since you posted that video, and you were to tell us we are where we are right now, I don't think we'd honestly believe it.
Yeah, we're doing backflips.
Merry Christmas.
The most positive Tiger Woods guys in the world, I still don't think we would have believed that he would play in the PNC, that it was goes. They finished solo second. Tiger almost got his leg amputated, and his kid that's playing with him is 12 years old, and they finished solo second in that tournament. So the whole thing is unimaginable. It's super cool. The best part about all of it is the future. All right, we got a ton to look forward to, knowing that we're going to have Tiger Woods teeing it up again, that he's clearly going to be able to do and chase at least some semblance of a golf game again is so fucking cool. The fact that Charlie's as into golf as he is and seems to handle the pressure and the big moments and have that good of a golf swing and make putts, it's all really, really cool. It gives us a fantastic future to look forward to. I think that's all I got.
This is the last time we're speaking to people before Christmas because we have to leave them off with some sort of holiday cheer. We wanted to go all in on Christmas. I hope everyone did their part this year. I know I tried my hardest. I went and saw the tree at Rockefeller Center. I did Christmas things. I made Christmas cookies. I went
Are you
and saw
on the good
Christmas.
list this year, Frankie? Are you naughty
I don't
list or
know.
good list?
I'm naughty. I'm usually naughty. I'm naughty.
Okay.
I'm naughty. You know how naughty I am? I couldn't watch the clip that we put out the other day on Twitter of me. I got to stop on the golf course. That was too much. Shout out to our fucking editors. Like, of all the things we do, I was talking about my mushroom peanut. Like, it was just too much. A lot of the things that were said in that highlight, I can't believe we have like sponsors and stuff.
I got my own little candy jar for Christmas. That's how
I saw a Christmas concert at UBS called the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I used to go with my parents back in the day with my fiance, her family. Talk about the Christmas spirit, like fake snow coming down from the ceilings, and it's a rock Christmas concert. You ever hear one of these things?
No.
Dun 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 dun, and you're like, holy shit, the fire's coming up. Like, it was nuts, man. I got into the Christmas spirit a little bit. I will say, in New York specifically, we have not had our fair share of Christmas weather, and that really brings down the Christmas spirit. It's been way too hot, way too warm. 62 degrees on a Tuesday walking through the city.
A week ago
it
was 74 degrees in Cedar Rapids. It was like,
it's
what's
unfortunate. I don't know what the reasoning, and you know what's going to happen? The Christmas time's going to come right by us, and then we're going to get face fucked by January and February.
Always.
It's just classic Northeast bullshit of being like, we didn't get our Christmas time, and now we have the craziest snowstorms ever in February. Who the hell wants a snowstorm in February? Give me all the snow on Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope that you all have been naughty in your own ways. It's the best time to be naughty. Snuggle up, get all crazy, figure it out, hug your loved ones.
You're such a weird guy.
It's gonna be a great time to open presents and wrap presents.
Who tells people to be naughty at Christmas? Like, what do you
like? Be your own. Like, be naughty. You know, just.
Shout out Roman right there. I mean, Frankie's
let's see some August
comfy
babies.
Sweats on, nice.
Let's see
stay
some
in bed,
August
have
babies.
a coffee. Yeah, there you go.
And let's just have a great time. I just can't wait for that day. I love Christmas. I fucking love Christmas Eve. We do a thing at Borelli's. We get all the needy families in the area. They come in, they grab food. It used to be they come for dinner, and I'm only saying this because I want to shout out my dad. He doesn't talk about it with anyone until someone figures out he's doing it. The guy shows up every Christmas morning while we're all sitting down opening presents, and he opens up the restaurant for like 300 families to come, and they have presents with the local government will come in. They'll buy presents for the kids. It's like the most rewarding thing to see people that actually like need something on Christmas. It's like, it's so like humbling, and it's an amazing feeling. Now with COVID, they come and pick up food in the parking lot and then drive them home to their houses, so it's a little safer. But just makes you feel good around this time when like everyone's so fucking... Like, we're all so selfish in our own right, and like we all want like the most shiny, amazing things, and like all these great things are happening to us. I just like to sometimes take a step back and be like, man, there's a lot of people out there that won't have a great Christmas, and I hope that things can happen, that they can find some holiday cheer in this time.
Naughty. You want them to be naughty.
No.
Spread some Christmas cheer. Everybody,
like spread a little Christmas cheer.
Pick people up if you can pick people up, and give people a smile when you can give people a smile. It's the only week I'll say this, and then back in January you can go fuck yourself. So.
Okay, nice.
That was really nice. Kind of.
Well, look. Merry Christmas. Thanks everybody for listening. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods, great week. The Dailies, congratulations to them. We are doing one show this week. We'll be back after Christmas for next week. We got the Arizona Bowl. We got the Barstool Classic Pioneers Championship video is coming out, I believe, this Thursday, which is December 23rd on our YouTube page. Go check out the Bandon videos if you have not. Have a great Christmas. Have a great holiday, no matter what you celebrate. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.